Good morning, everybody. This is Zombie Russ, and welcome back to another Oxygen Not Included quick and dirty tutorial. Today, we're going to be talking about rooms and morale and what kind of rooms are helpful and also what rooms you should be starting with. Today, we're going to start with the bathroom. The bathroom is absolutely 100% the very first room that you should build. You don't have to shape it like I do. I get very particular about shaping, but the two things you're going to want to make right away is a wash basin, and an outhouse. A lot of people start with beds. Don't start with beds. Do not start with beds. I need to repeat that. I'm going to say it a third time. Do not start with beds. Look all over your base, look around, see where there might be some fresh water, build to the point where you can access said fresh water, like so, with a pitch pump. Probably in a better space than that. You can actually get the deepest part of the water, of course. And then you're going to want to make yourself a wash basin and an outhouse. Now, the reason for this will become apparent soon. Also, the reason why doors are so important. We're going to skip ahead a little bit and then get back to why that's important. Alright, so back to this. Now, as I talked about in my last video, you want to make sure the arrows on the wash basin are pointing the direction that people are going to go after they use the outhouse or your lavatory so that germs do not get sent out. You want to set the priority on wash basins and outhouses to pretty high. I do about 8. That way that they will always get taken care of first. But we're talking about the reasons for the pneumatic doors right now. Now, you do build this first. You want to make sure that no germs are going to get down into your water because it starts out free of germs, and you want to make sure it stays that way as much as possible. The reason you build the outhouse first is so that your people don't pee all over the place and contaminate everything with polluted water, polluted oxygen that creates slime lung germs and whatever, and also that, you know, it makes them very happy and nobody wants to stand around in their pee. But the reason that we're here for rooms today is for the room overlay. The room overlay is the last button on your thing, or F11, depending on how you want to do it. And what it does is it has all these different room types. Now, the room types you need to make sure first off is you go look at them. You can see that they have a maximum tile size. The maximum tile size is very important. You can hover over when you got the room overlay on. You can see the room details. Currently, this room, 40 tiles. Not very big. Not anywhere near the maximum size. When I expand this out a little bit more, it's definitely going to reach the maximum size, but right now it's only at 40 tiles out of the 64. The most important thing, though, is that affect the morale. The morale is +1 right now for the latrine, so everybody that goes into it and uses it is going to have +1 morale. Morale is needed for the extra jobs. The extra jobs are, you know, the extra skills and everything are needed to get to better stuff. Super duper hard digging will give you diamond and obsidian mining, will give you abyssalite mining, very firm material mining. You can build things faster, you can ranch better, you can make gorgeous, genius artworks. Or you can get to stuff like the exosuit training, which the exosuit training, one of the best ones, of course, gives +2 athletics. Also, reduces the penalty from wearing an exosuit, because I think an exosuit wearing one without this skill will be a -6 on their athletics, so people will be walking very slowly. Mechatronics engineering, of course, also very important, so that you can have conveyor rail construction and you can make all of your automated shipping stuff. Now, every single time that you get a new skill point, you can see over here on the left, currently Dig 1 has 2 morale. With the New Hope and Duplicant giving a +1. With the bathroom, or the washroom, that would be a +3. If we go all the way down here to Mechatronics Engineering, you can see the red bars fill it up significantly. Now, of course, the hearts mean that they get a +1. By selecting that, you can see up here the morale changes to be a +2. But the morale need is what we're looking at, which is a +9 to get all the way to Mechatronics Engineering if Dig 1 was actually going that direction. Now, that's why morale is so important. If you choose skills, and you can choose skills past their morale here, which is they currently have 2 morale. Their need is 0 because they don't have jobs yet because they just started this game. If you go all the way to the end there, their need is going to be 9. They can go all the way to that without actually having the morale necessary. But they will get stressed. The higher their stress goes, and the stress is one of the most important things you need to pay attention to in the game, the higher their stress goes, the unhappier they're going to be. If they get unhappy, they're going to have their destructive traits, which there is vomiting, crying, binge eating, or destructive. Destructive, of course, is the worst. They will run around your base and they will beat on things. They will destroy random things. They will destroy. You can't plan on what they're going to destroy. If you've got an area vacuumed out of all gases, they could destroy that. If you have a water tank, they could destroy the bottom of that and let your water out all over the place. They could destroy your power generators. They could destroy your research machines and you'd have to go and repair them. Destructive is terrible. The other ones are Ugly Crier. Ugly Crier used to create a little bit of water. It no longer does that. Ugly Crier now just makes it so that they stop moving. They will sit down for like a cycle or two, stop eating, stop going to the bathroom, stop like going for places where they can get oxygen, and they will just stop moving. You have completely lost a worker at that point. Then there is Vomiter, one of my favorites, because Vomiter does, it's got a positive and a negative. Vomiter will, it creates polluted water from the dupe. It will, however, send them immediately into starving. It will use up all of the kcals that they have eaten. So it is a massive waste of your calories. It is a massive waste. Will reduce their food. They will need to eat right away. If you have somebody vomiting all the time, sure, they'll create polluted water, and you can convert that to regular water. You can do whatever you want with it. However, it's going to take a lot of food to get there. The last one, and in my opinion, the worst one is, which I don't have a dupe with that right now, is binge eating. Binge eating, they will sit in front of your food storage and just continually eat. They won't need the food. They won't go to the bathroom more often. They won't vomit it up. They'll just continually eat. They won't stop. So in a second, we're going to go and skip ahead a little bit, and we're going to look at some other rooms now that we've talked about morale a little bit. You can, of course, look at all the room overlays and what they need. For example, miscellaneous room, no effect. It just needs to be enclosed by tiles. Latrine, toilet, wash station, that's all you need. No industrial machinery. Industrial machinery, you can kind of tell what industrial machinery is. Let's see if I can actually find one here. I don't think I have any researched yet. Nope, I don't have any researched yet. Industrial machinery, it will say whether it is industrial machinery or not on it, and it will prevent you from getting certain types of rooms. There's the washroom, which I can show you as well. Flush toilet, plumbed wash station, no outhouses, so you have to replace all your latrines, all your outhouses and wash basins, everything that would make a latrine, with flush toilets and sinks or wash stations. The wash station, of course, is the sink. It has to be plumbed. You cannot use a wash basin in it. It will give a +2, which is, believe it or not, a significant bonus. You can also put things in there like showers, decorations, whatnot. Showers don't actually change what a room counts as whatsoever. There's the barracks, which has at least one single bed. You can put multiple in there and get multiple barracks and basically have multiple dupes in a barracks, but it only gives +1 morale. The upgrade to that, of course, is the bedroom, which is a single comfy bed. Now, need to pay attention to this. This says single bed. That is at least one single bed, which is, of course, the cot. Bedroom, single comfy bed, which is the upgraded version of the bed. Only one per room. That gives +2 morale to the dupe in it. No cots, no industrial machinery, of course. Minimum height, 4 tiles. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, like you see here. Now we're going to skip ahead, and then we'll go look at the rest of these as we can. So I decided that instead of skipping ahead and building a bunch of rooms and deciding how things are going to go, I'm just going to go to one of my old save games and show you literally how everything is set up. That way you can just decide on your own what you'd like to do, and you can see how they all work here. So right here, we have got the bedroom. Oop, there's other tabs here. You know, exosuit overlay, automation overlay, and conveyor overlay, which will show up later as you get more research. But at the end, we still have the room overlay. We've got the bedroom here, one comfy bed. It belongs to one single person. You can decorate it as you like. It gives morale +2, minimum size 4, blah, 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 blah. Down here, we have the washroom. Like I said, this is a washroom that is finished up, except that it needs to have diamond tiles on the top, like I was talking about before. It's got several different lavatories in it. You can have, it is max size 64. You can see the build that I specifically go with there. And it's got flush toilets, plumbed wash stations, no outhouses, no industrial machinery, morale +2. Up here, you have the Great Hall. There's two different differences here. There's very distinct differences. So, if I did this, actually that would, so I'm going to do something here really quick to show you literally how this works. But the Great Hall is what you really, really aim for. The Great Hall is one of the better rooms. It gives morale +6. It needs a mess table, no industrial machinery, and at least one decor item that gives +20, which can be a portrait. It can be an arrow pot if you have arrow pots, because arrow pots are +20. But certain things like just a hanging pot will not do it, because the hanging pot does not give enough decor, no matter what you put into it. I'm just going to cancel that there, and I'll talk about the mess hall on its own. The Great Hall is what you really want to aim for. It has a maximum size of 120 tiles. This room is a max size here of 113 tiles, as I have it shaped. But you want to have a max size. You can have a max size of 120 tiles. It's one of the biggest rooms you can possibly get. And it is the upgrade from the mess hall, which is only a max size of 64 tiles. Has only one mess table, no industrial machinery. This only gives a maximum morale of +3. The Great Hall is what you want to aim for with a +6. It can be much bigger. The decor item is really what slows you down there. And of course, it needs a recreational building. The recreational buildings count as a espresso machine, jukebox, water cooler, or arcade cabinet are all recreation machines. You can do different things to also increase this room. Your duplicants will honestly spend the most time in your Great Hall. So adding certain things like great decor, great lights in here, a lot of animals running around, shine bugs, whatever, to light the place up is a good idea. Next, we're moving on to the hospital. The hospital will heal your dupes faster. They're less likely to spread disease when they're in here as well. Maximum size 96 tiles, so it can be a little bigger. It, however, needs a medical equipment, which of course is the triage cots, a sick bay, or a disease clinic. It also needs a toilet. I, of course, never put a toilet down without a sink next to it. If you're trying to stop the spread of disease, why would you not have a sink next to it? That just makes sense. However, it also needs a mess table. But there's a trick you can do with the mess table. You can put a mess table up in a corner. They don't need to necessarily reach the mess table. They're never going to actually use it, even if they're being treated. But it can go up in a corner, and it can still make the room count as a hospital to heal your dupes faster. Next, I think I was talking about this yesterday, the park. Park is morale +3. Oh, by the way, hospital, it heals your dupes faster, does not give morale bonus. Not all rooms give a bonus to morale. The park, like I said, all it needs, 2 plants, which I have planted with a pip, and a park sign. When anybody goes into it, they get the park bonus and morale +3. However, important note, this does not stack with the nature reserve. The nature reserve is an interesting room because you want your dupes to run through it, and it needs to be a certain size. You can see maximum size 120 tiles, no industrial machinery. It needs a park sign, like I've got right here, and at least 4 wild plants. That is plants that are in regular dirt, planted by pips, or just left where they are when you were digging that area out. When anybody goes through it, they will get a +6 to their morale bonus. Now I have the park. I have the park over here in case anybody goes through this room. I've got the wild plants, but this room, for example, has industrial machinery in it. In the case of the gas pump, which is technically industrial machine. For some reason, it used to tell what industrial machinery was. It doesn't anymore. It's very, very strange. Anyway, this room still counts as nature reserve. It's 85 tiles, so it's under the 120 tile limit. But because I put a gas pump in here, it technically counts as industrial machinery, no longer counts as a nature reserve. That's important to note. Also important to note, technically these rooms would be together because these pneumatic doors are set to open. Yes, they're set to open, but because there are doors there, it still technically separates these rooms. Very, very important to note. Pneumatic doors, even if they're open, will always separate doors. You can see up here. Oh, I didn't have this one built up. I had doors separating these Volpups so that I could make this into 2 different stables, but I apparently not in this specific save. This is a save that I gave up on, so it's I go back to it as an example. Next room, the stables. Stable enables the grooming station use. That's basically all it does. But if you have animals that are in a stable, they will get debuffs and buffs. I can go into that in a later video, and I will. The stable, it's basically only for the grooming station. The grooming station is very, very important. It will tame your animals, which is the little golden tag you see here. When animals are tamed, they will have better metabolism, they'll be better happy, they will also breed faster, and that's your main aim, is breeding faster. Your ranchers have to come in, they have to take care of your animals, they will tame them, which will give them better happiness, better metabolism, so they eat less but breed more. You can get more eggs out of them, all that fun stuff. So that is the stable, and that's the use behind it. Let's see, what have we covered? Massage clinic is, you can receive massages in this genre, as massage clinic will significantly improve stress reduction. All it needs is a massage table and a decor item. You can make that if you want to, but if you pay attention to decor and your stress, what is stressing your dupes out, you don't really need a massage clinic. Power plants, this is a difficult one. Generators built within a power plant can be tuned by using power control stations to improve their power production. Personally, I could use that in my power production. Where is it? Why is it not in power? Power control station should totally be in power. I don't know why it's not. Oh, whoa. This update happened literally before I opened the game to record this. Okay. Where's the... There it is. Power control station, for some reason in stations, because it's called a station. I'm dumb. Produces a microchip to increase the power output of generators. Must possess the tune-up trait. I'm going to try and build this really quickly. The thing about it, it produces the microchip. To produce a microchip, you need to load it up with refined metal, which you can use if you got a lot of lead. You can use that. If you got a volcano that you're tapping, use that. What it does, if you have a duplicant with the tune-up stat, they can make your power stations produce more power. That's basically it. If you want to use it, you can. I like putting my power stations in closed rooms because of the gas and the heat they generate. I don't like my duplicants to go into those areas. If you want to, you're more than welcome to. I choose not to. I choose to keep them closed and to basically automate them so that your duplicants won't be overheated, scalded, whatever. Hey everybody, Future Omni here. We just needed to mention the power control station. According to the wiki, once you refine metals into microchips using any refined metal, of course, lead, gold, iron, steel. Don't use steel. Do not use steel. Using the second tier of the operator skill, which is the electrical engineering, which will give the NG's tune-up modifier to 1 generator in the power plant room and increase the productivity of that generator by 50% for 3 cycles without touching it at all. So, you know, that's kind of important to note. Back to the video. Next, the recreation room. Now, there's a difference between the mess hall, recreation room, and great hall. The reason you do a great hall is because your duplicants will always go in there to eat. They'll spend enough time in there to eat. They'll go in there for recreation. It's basically the recreation room and the mess hall combined. The recreation room does not give morale, which is why you want to go for the Great Hall instead. The recreation room, I don't have one built right now because it's not really needed. Once you can get away from the recreation room, you do as fast as possible. Scheduled downtime will further improve morale for duplicants visiting the recreation room. When they're inside it, it gives them a slight bonus to whatever morale that they have gotten. You need 1 decor item and a recreational building. Early on, it's advisable to build this with just a flower pot or a hanging pot and your water cooler. It's an early game morale bonus. You can kind of skip over it though. Now we're going to talk a little bit about decor. Decor is an interesting thing. But honestly, it's covered pretty well. your duplicants are going to run around. They're going to get very negative decor on the places they visit. You can check the decor overlay, and you can sort of hover over here and see what decor they're getting. Lots of things affect decor. Heavy watt wire really affects decor. Storage bins, insulated pipes just hanging around. That's why I try and hide them behind tiles like so when you can. Is it will affect decor. Decor travels through doors. Decor travels through window tiles. Diamond, of course, the best thing because it'll give a +10 for each and every tile here. You can see the +30 there. And if you hover over, by the way, with your mouse, with the decor overlay on, you can see what lights up and what doesn't light up is what is affecting that dupe who is standing in that area. So a dupe here will be affected by 4 different portraits, because the one through the diamond tile here, this is actually affected. They can still see that screaming man. Will also be affected by the negative value from the automation wire and the automation wire bridge. If you want your decor higher, let's see, for example, here there is tasteful memorials, which are -10. You can affect this a little bit by making them out of granite, but it's not going to affect very, very much. But if I had, for example, window tiles right here instead of the carpeted tile, anybody walking through this area would also be affected by the decor from this statue here. Same thing goes for these rooms. If I had window tiles, the people here would be affected by the decor down here. People here would be affected by the decor up here. Window tiles are one of your more useful things you can make if you have a lot of extra diamond. Also, animals give positive decor. +10 for Pakus. Pretty much any animal actually give a +10. Which makes your stables actually not horrifically ugly. But like depending on, let's see, there's mealwood here is a -10. Like you don't really want to pay too much attention to your math. What you want to do basically is what's called decor bombing. You put a bunch of decor in some areas, and it will affect your dupes to the point that they get all this decor and will be pretty happy because of it. So we'll look at their stress here. Where is their decor bonus? There it is, decor. Duplicates become stressed in areas with decor lower than their expectations. Now, it says, well, basically what it is their current decor will go up or down depending on where they are, but what affects is, what you want to look at is their average decor this cycle compared to last cycle. That's what will affect them at the end of the day when they actually go to sleep. If they had really good decor, like right now you see that going way, way, way up because they're in a bathroom right now. Kind of negative decor there because they're surrounded by arrow pots, and that's about it. And latrines are very, very bad decor. But their decor is actually going up right now, even though they were in a terrible decor spot all day. At the end of the day, their decor is going to be remarkably high. For example, because of going into the decor bombed Great Hall, their decor will actually be higher than their decor last cycle, and they will get positive morale because of that. So that's how decor bombing works. You basically slam them with as much decor as you possibly can. Make sure at the end of the day it's very, very high so that recreation is always going to be in a decor area. And then when they go to sleep, because it was so high, well, I mean, I'm also getting, I also put I'm getting rid of the sopping wet debuff at the end of the day instead of the beginning of the day by showering them at the end of the day according to scheduling, like we talked about last video. They'll get things like pleasant chit chat, smelled flowers, which is why I avoid allergies. They just got soggy feet because apparently I did not clean up some water there. That's plus 10% per cycle. They go use a recreation machine. They get the recently danced buff. Come on, build 4. You're slowing down my video here, buddy. There we go. They go to stress with decor pretty high, and that will give them good morale for the next day. So yeah, that's basically how morale works. You do the decor bombing, so they can go anywhere in your base that has terrible, terrible decor, like right here, -477. over here next to Glass Forge, which is 139. You can try and stack some things in places where they can spend a lot of time. So we got the Genius metal sculptures here, but they're next to heavy watt wires, heavy watt joint plates, radiant liquid pipes, metal refineries, and storage bins. So it's already going to be pretty low. You can try and decor spam around areas like these if you want. It will help mitigate, but at the end of the day, that's what really matters. What really matters is what they're going to be surrounded by. So if they go into really, really terrible places like space, -685 because of all the heavy watt wire I've got around here, robo miners, all that, they're still going to jump down here at the end of the day. It's going to be mitigated a little bit by the decor they're surrounded by, and that's what you're really looking for. So that was an explanation of decor. That was an explanation of all the room types. I think I covered everything. Looking at my notes. Yep, covered everything. So, early game, go for your recreation room, go for your latrine, go for a mess hall, go for barracks, and basically that will help early game morale, but when you really start needing morale, you're going to have to really upgrade things with genius sculptures, all of that stuff, and to make sure that your skills and whatnot always stay a little bit low. For example, right here, you can see build 1, 25 out of 27. He's actually getting a little bit stressed out. You can check your stress right up here. Build 1, 9% stress. It's mitigated a little bit by all the stuff that he's surrounded by. They're at end game, their skills will go up and down constantly, depending on what they're eating, depending on the rooms that they are in, depending on the morale, depending on if they've been hurt, depending on how much oxygen they're getting, depending on if they walk through something wet. All of that will affect their morale. You try and mitigate it as much as possible by keeping things mopped up, making sure they're going through rooms that'll give them a bonus, all of that stuff. But all I can really say is, best of luck. I'm OmniRusted. This was an Oxygen Not Included quick and dirty tutorial. I hope you had a good time. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.